Hey, it's Nikki.
And it's Brie.
And we're
Late to the Party.
A podcast about the film, fashion, and pop culture moments that shaped us into the weirdos that we are. And today we are discussing Pablo Larrain's unofficial trilogy of somewhat maligned, iconic 20th century women.
That's right.
We're discussing Maria, Spencer, and getting into Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brie,
Yes?
how do you solve a problem like Maria?
You don't. She just can't be solved. She's a mystery. She's
Yeah.
a puzzle of a woman.
Well, all these women are so complex and mysterious and very cool, but also very tragic.
Yes, very tragic.
Yes. But let's just get into it. I mean, it's Oscar season, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we're kicking it off this year. Kicking through the doors.
We're kicking the door down. We're
Yes.
stepping through and we're beating up the feet. Sorry.
But yeah, so what was your first experience with Pablo Larrain's work?
I think, and it may be the same as you,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember years ago.
You want to say it in unison?
Jackie. Yeah, we were in the theater together when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember being like wowed.
Well, Jackie O is such like an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And then Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I found out, through like Variety or Deadline or whatever, that Natalie Portman was going to play Jackie Kennedy, okay, I was sold. I'm like, I don't care. I don't know who this Chilean filmmaker is.
Yeah.
But it looks art house. Greta Gerwig's in it.
Yes, I forgot Greta Gerwig is like
Yeah.
her secretary, I guess. She plays like,
Mm-hmm.
I forget what her name was.
Yeah.
Eh.
I don't know. All I could see was Greta Gerwig. But yeah, like her right-hand lady.
Yeah.
But previously, I wasn't familiar with Pablo Larrain's work.
Honestly, I'm still not familiar. I need to probably watch some more, but
That's dig deep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really into this trilogy.
Same. I almost want him to make more, even though he said like he probably won't. But
Well, it's perfect, Brie. This unofficial trilogy is just serendipitous in a weird way. Like, I don't think he went into making Jackie thinking Maria was gonna be like his cap on these 20th century women, but it just fits so perfectly. And well, do we want to get into there's a common thread?
Yeah, there's a lot of common threads.
Yeah.
But
then they cap it off with Maria, which is like a passion project for him because he loved opera and Maria Callas from a young age. So he has that tie.
yeah.
But also the fact that this takes place in 1977, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this coincides, especially in the flashbacks, with when Jackie was married to Aristotle Onassis.
Yes, it's crazy how they're like tied together. Yeah. And it's like that, well, Jackie was his first film and then Maria. It's like a full circle.
100%.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's cool. Yeah, that's crazy how unintentional that happened to be.
Yeah.
But I love it.
But yeah, so Jackie in the theaters in 2016, we were seated.
We were.
What were your first impressions on his just like filmmaking style?
I loved his style. It's cool because it's like there's a bit of like a documentary feel to it. But then it deviates, obviously. But I love those like cuts where it's like, oh yeah, she's, like in Jackie specifically, where she's like giving like the tour of the White House and like we're watching it on the black and white TV. Like it really sets the mood and sets the like scene. Like I love how it feels kind of historically accurate, like all the costumes and like the tone, whatever he shot on, like it just feels like I don't know how to describe it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, Pablo Larrain, what I've noticed about these three films is he reveres these women so much that you can tell with every shot and his like the way he isn't afraid to shoot in different formats and different mediums. Like in Jackie, the replication of, the White House tour and how that's filmed, and in Maria, how the black and white scenes are shown and shot on a different film than the 35 millimeter in the 1970s.
yeah,
The flashbacks are in black and
it's
white.
very purposeful.
Yeah, and like his focus on the close-up shots.
I love the close-up shots.
But he's just not afraid to play around with formats and not you know, not afraid to get into like fantastical elements and, you know, like almost like psychological thriller elements, but then also because he obviously reveres these women so much, there's like the replication of the White House tour and, you know, all these, like, he really strives to make it as accurate to the time and to these women as possible. So like getting Chanel to do the costumes for Spencer, and, you know, the effort to make that Chanel suit with the pillbox hat for Jackie, like all these little things.
It's like kind of grounded in a way, but then I know I heard him say like in an interview, he, like you said, like try to get as much like right, like it's accurate, like just like fact checking. But then there's like things that are uncorroborated, I guess, like people have like different, you know, takes on what happened.
I mean, are you telling me that Princess Diana didn't rip off her necklace during a dinner and then proceed to eat the pearls?
I don't think so.
Man.
But, you know, I love that he like takes those risks and like really tries to get into these women's like psyche.
100%. Like he, it's apparent that he cares about the inner world.
Yeah.
Way more than the outer world.
Definitely. And it's not often that we like, you know, like I feel like all these three women, like Jackie O, you know, Maria Spencer. It's like
for some reason I thought you were gonna say Maria C. I don't know why.
Maria C. That's her like stage
and Diana
name.
S.
Diana. But yeah, like Princess Di, or I don't know. I feel like that a lot of people said Princess Di back in the day.
Yeah,
when we were kids.
Oh yeah, and that Lady Gaga song, Princess Di. Not to
go
back around to Gaga, but
oh my gosh, do you think one day? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Pablo Larrain, we were talking about last week, the perfect like vehicle for Lady Gaga to finally get her much deserved Oscar.
Yeah.
Talk about maligned women of the 21st century. Not really, but you know how I feel about Lady Gaga needing to win an Oscar.
Yeah, you think if they team up, that would be like gold? That's the answer?
Oh my gosh. I mean, she's still living, so I don't want to wish.
I know, that's why I was like,
Well, no, I was going to say Babs. Barbara Streisand.
Oh, she plays Barbara. But, oh my God.
I mean, okay, maybe.
Wait, Barbara's still living too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't want to like jinx it, but I feel like, or maybe, well, I know Renee Zellweger did Judy, but Lady Gaga doing Judy Garland, or like,
oh wow, yeah,
or like eventually Liza Minnelli.
Oh.
I mean, but
yeah.
Liza Minnelli's still alive.
I was gonna say, I feel like Amy. Okay, I never saw the Amy biopic, but I wanted Gaga to play her just because I feel like she has that look and that kind of like that sound in her voice.
But that's so much lore to unpack, Brie. They were art. I mean, the reason why Lady Gaga dyed her hair blonde is because of the similarities to Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird for her to unpack.
The Illuminati conspiracy theories that, you know, if like Amy Winehouse didn't pass away, Tony Bennett wouldn't have worked with Lady Gaga. It would have been Amy.
Oh my God, I could see that actually. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Also, if you're into like the deep, like the conspiracies, Lady Gaga killed Amy Winehouse.
Wait, what?
Not really, but like
strangled her?
No, but like, you know how
set
like
her up?
The Illuminati, you know, when you get into those deep pockets of TikTok.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Also a thing that's probably not going to be around by the time this episode drops.
I heard Mr. Beast might buy it. I guess he's got that much money.
Wow, I hate men. And I just like, why are losers in control of everything? Zuckerberg, Trump. Anyways.
Let's keep it positive.
Let's just keep it light, though. We're talking about women. This is a women-centric podcast.
Is that our new? That's our new like mission statement.
And Pablo Larrain.
Yeah.
I mean, he does it for the girls and the gays.
He does.
Yeah. Pablo Larrain's work, at least with these three films, really remind me of Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Sofia Coppola like the Marie Antoinette Priscilla.
Yeah. I was thinking
not somewhere lost in translation Sofia Coppola.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I kind of thought that too, especially with the movie Spencer. That gave me those vibes a bit. Yeah. Just, I don't know, maybe it's because it's also filmed like in England or something, and so they're like in that fancy mansion. But the isolation, you know, like when she's running through the halls by herself and eating the cakes in the freezer, it just, you know, made me think of how Marie Antoinette is so bored and is, I don't know, you're surrounded by all these people kind of, but then they're also in your business.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying.
There's
parallels.
There's so many parallels. Also, what really strikes me about Larrain's work and Sofia Coppola's that I love so much is it's based on aesthetics. It's like very beautiful, well, like shot films. And it seems like he really does care about the look and the framing of the shot. And it's not always linear. Like I love in the beginning of Spencer, like right out of the gate, he says this is, you know, a fable. This is not, you know, this is like not
disclaimer,
a biopic, or it's not your average biopic. What's your relationship to biopics? Because I'm kind of torn on my thoughts.
Oh, like just like how do I feel about them in general? Yeah, I also feel kind of torn. Like I do like them. I like the idea of them. I'm trying to think what biopics I have seen, if I'm being honest, other than these three. I mean, I know we saw, what is it with Freddie Mercury?
Bohemian
Rhapsody. I mean, I wasn't super invested because I don't know that much about Freddie Mercury, but I know that people were up in arms about certain details being accurate and things like that. So, but I'm trying to think. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember enjoying Ray. That one was good. There's a Tina Turner. There's a Tina Turner biopic that's really good.
Oh, with Angela Bassett.
That one's really good.
What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yeah. What else? Oh, we saw the Whitney Houston one.
I actually really enjoyed I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah, I did too. I'm trying. What else have I seen though? What have you seen?
I don't know. When I feel like this is probably the reason why I really respond to Pablo Larrain's work, especially with these three biopics. It's because every biopic is like Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Yes, it's like there's no fantasy really. It's
just so comical, and it's funny. Like you mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody, but it does follow the Dewey Cox playbook. So like even today, like in a post Walk Hard society, we're still getting these biopics that, you know, they're like their upbringing and their inspirational story, and then they get into drugs, and their parents are bad.
With Austin Butler.
And, you know, so I don't know if I like biopics that much. Like I will eat it up in the theater.
Yeah.
But then when I think about it afterwards and think critically, I'm like, oh, it's kind of formulaic.
What about Priscilla though? Would that be a biopic?
I don't know if it would be a biopic exactly, because there's so many, like Sofia Coppola, like Larrain, is using a lot of like elements that are, you know, it's not just like a factual like A, B, C. It's like not as linear, and yeah, it's more artistic.
Yeah, it's a different
from
vibe.
Her point of view. Like this is based
a lot of times
Elvis
it's like they're
me.
on the outside a little bit. They don't bring us. I will say, like, especially with Pablo Larrain, and even like Sofia Coppola too. Like I feel like they bring us closer to these characters.
Yeah,
up close and personal.
Like they don't really care. Like they care more about the person. That's what I really.
Yeah, because
really
there's so much like that you go through, like as a person day to day, and like when you're in the public eye, like you wouldn't even really think about that much. So it does kind of, he explores that a lot. Like what's a typical day for Princess Diana?
Yeah,
because that movie takes place with what, like within a few days, like 3 days, maybe?
In a weekend in 1991, like Christmas time.
Yeah,
in 1991. So, and then for Maria, it's her final year on Earth. And for Jackie, it's in 1963, post JFK assassination. So we follow her through, you know, the assassination and then like the couple days afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's just like a snapshot, a moment in time, but like a pivotal moment in time in these women's lives.
and not often explored times either. I thought it was
100%.
interesting because like when you think about like a typical biopic has like so much, it tries to cover so much, and it's not really a snapshot like that.
No, and a lot of times in biopics, they don't really get into the nitty gritty of who the person is because they're really focused on that like story arc.
Yeah, it's like what have they accomplished? They, you know, they grew up here. Then they did this, and then they were this person, that person, whatever.
Yeah, which I'm thinking about like Amy Winehouse, and why we haven't really gotten a biopic about her. Well, we did last year, but I didn't see it, and I don't think a lot of people saw it. But I think why it's really hard with her, it's like she's a person that had a really meteoric rise and like crazy influential, but it would have to be told in like a Pablo Larrain style.
Yeah.
Because if you think about like her life, it's such a short life for one, but also the story isn't super linear because people's lives aren't linear. Like sometimes it like works out that way and sometimes it just like doesn't, Yeah. Like the rise isn't as risey or the fall is great and big, but like with Amy Winehouse, for example, it's like she's having success and everything's falling apart simultaneously. So it's harder to like have a walk the line moment,
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. I feel like if they did another biopic, like I'd like to see Pablo do one. I don't know.
He's just the best.
I know he says he's I know, I'm like he needs to direct everything.
He does. They just put so much care, and I don't know. Big fan. You know what grinds my gears though?
What?
When people say biopic.
Yes, I hate that. I was gonna mention that, but then I didn't want to like grind my own gears in the moment because even saying it, like, it makes me think of like Bionic or something for some reason.
Yes, well, underrated album. Maybe Pablo Larrain next biopic should be Christina Aguilera's Bionic.
Ooh, who would play her though?
Christina Aguilera.
She plays herself.
She plays herself. But we've kind of gone off the rails for a second. Oh, you know what I thought was really interesting? I want to hear your thoughts on this quote. So Pablo Larrain has been doing a lot of press to promote Maria. But in Dazed, he says, cinema is one of the greatest time machines that humans have created. It's also a great way to approach human perception of reality. I see things. I see colors. I see that flower. I see you. I see my phone and that I've got a message. I have a memory. I hear music from outside that triggers something. Perception is very complex. We're always being invaded by emotions, ideas, and memories. This film tries to do that with her perception, which I think encapsulates his work. There's one thing to like be noticed or recognized or even admired, but there's another thing to be seen. And with these women, they're like three of the most famous, iconic women of the 21st century, or 20th century, I mean. But a lot of their life, they strive so hard to be seen, and a lot of times they weren't seen.
But Pablo makes them seen.
Yeah, Pablo sees them.
I love that. Well, I feel like, I was going to say with Maria, I feel like not a lot of people know her, really. Or apparently she's not very popular in the US, but she's more popular in Europe and Asia.
Like a Robbie Williams situation?
I guess so. I don't know who Robbie Williams is. Is he like, doesn't he have a movie coming out or something? I have no idea who that. I was like, Robin Williams? I was like very confused.
I mean, I only know Robbie Williams now because of all the press for that movie of his. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that he's big and everywhere but here.
I'm like, yeah, I have no idea.
So
but people are excited, so.
Yeah, except in the US. So Maria has a little bit of a Robbie Williams situation going on.
Yeah, a little bit.
I only know Maria Callas really because of you. You introduced me to her, and I know you're a big fan.
I am.
So let's just get into Maria.
Okay.
Get into Maria Callas.
Yeah.
The plot of Maria is Maria Callas, the world's greatest opera singer, lives the last days of her life in 1970s Paris as she confronts her life and identity. And it's portrayed by Angelina Jolie.
I love this. I love this casting. I just have to say, in general, Pablo Larrain can cast. Like, he knows what he is doing.
100%.
But I will say every time I'm skeptical, just a little. Like, even though I love these actors, I'm always like a little bit like, huh.
Even Angelina Jolie?
Just a little, because it's like, I think the biggest part of that, and even Natalie Portman, but the reason isn't because of their talent. I obviously think they're very talented, but it's because they themselves are already these huge figures. How do you look past that? You know what I mean? But they do really become these characters. They become these women. Like, I'm convinced once I watch the movie, but at first, like, I'm like, how do I forget that that's Angelina Jolie? Like, that's Angelina motherfucking Jolie. Like, you know, how can I not see that?
Well, she's one of the last great movie stars.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, let's talk Angelina Jolie in Maria.
I just love that he chose her. Like, he chose, I think, the perfect person.
Well, she does resemble Maria Callas.
She does. And she brings like so much emotion to the character. I like listened to this interview too where she was like, this movie, like, just being the whole process helped her kind of feel more in touch with herself as an artist and being able to like release a bunch of emotions that she didn't realize she had like bottled up.
That like opera. Well, you've taken opera lessons before.
I have.
I want to hear your experience, because in all of these interviews to promote Maria, and also, you know, Angelina Jolie was just nominated for a Golden Globe and has, you know, this Oscar buzz. It's not as big after the Golden Globes, but still, there's no doubt in my mind that she must get a nomination or I will riot in the streets.
Same.
But she describes singing opera as this very like visceral, like just experience. She says like something about the emotions she kept them bottled up, or like opera is one of the only ways to like let it all go and release it, and you don't know how much you have bottled up inside until you like start singing opera
sometime. Yeah.
But tell me your experience with
I would agree.
Opera.
So I just took like an opera class, but I grew up listening to opera, you know. But so I've already had like a love for it, but I will say singing it is like a whole nother thing, because it's, to me, it was kind of intimidating, you know, because you have to be loud. And as a somewhat quiet person, I'm like I would have to practice in my car because I was afraid to sing in front of other people. But I can sing karaoke fine. You know what I mean?
You're
but
the best at karaoke.
Thanks. But it's like so different than karaoke, because it's like there's like you can't sing it without emotion. You know what I mean? Because you're hitting all these notes. Well, I guess especially if you're doing like a soprano situation where you're going high, it's just hard not to.
Were you a soprano?
I was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Play by play, what is the experience like of singing opera?
Well, first you have to warm up your voice. They teach you a bunch of vocal exercises. Then you have to learn the music, which is probably going to be in Italian or French or Spanish.
Was it an emotional experience for you like it was for her?
I think to a degree. I think I was looking at it though more of like a challenge that I wanted to like. I just wanted to challenge myself, and kind of learn the music a little more, because I've grown up listening to a lot of the music without really understanding it. So I think it was a journey for me to try to understand it more and maybe understand myself a bit, but I wish I did more of it. I think it's kind of intimidating though. I only sang in front of like the instructor, you know, and I remember like going to work and I told them I was taking opera class, and she'd be like, "Oh, sing me a little." I'm like, "No," in the middle of a clothing store. Like, what, I'm going to bust out into like opera, cause a scene, you know?
Yeah. It does seem like a very like hearing you talk about it now and Angelina Jolie in interviews, it seems like a very personal experience, which is a little different than if you're just like, I'm gonna sing a song.
Yeah. You know? It's very different than like karaoke, I will say. Yeah.
So you grew up listening to opera. Mm-hmm. What was your relationship to Maria Callas?
Honestly, I didn't really discover her until my teens. I did not know of her because I grew up listening to Pavarotti. I knew the three tenors. I knew all like the male opera singers because that's what I grew up around. Like, you know, that was my influence. So when I discovered her in a bookstore, like I discovered her book in a bookstore one day, and I don't know, it came with CDs to listen to. So I'm like, all right, I'll give this lady a listen. Also the cover, like she had this iconic like winged eyeliner, her hair pulled back. She's like pale. I'm like, okay, work. So I bought the book for like, I don't know, maybe $5. And it was like brand new. And I just like listened to it, cried to the music.
What is it about Maria Callas's art and her singing that really like moves you?
I feel like it just feels kind of honest. Like she gives her whole self to the music and like that art form. And she was criticized a lot at the time because her voice wasn't perfect. Apparently there's like so many little, I guess with any singer though, you could say like your register, like when you're like jumping notes, like things like that, like maybe you wobble. Like she had like a wobble that some people either loved or hated. She was very controversial. It was like very like you either loved her or you hate her.
Huh.
I don't know why. I feel like looking back, like after doing some research and just thinking about it, I'm like, I think people were just like hating on her because she was a woman in the 60s. But that's just the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, like, because I didn't really know a lot about Maria Callas. We went to see, like in 2017, there's a really great documentary on Maria Callas. I'm fascinated by her. You know, my experience isn't, I didn't grow up listening to opera. I grew up listening to Britney Spears, you know?
Yeah, I mean, same.
A little bit of a different, or like, I guess my version of that would be like maybe like a Carole King or something like that. But
yeah,
Maria Callas is someone you introduced me to, saw the documentary, was like kind of in love with her.
Yeah. She just has this magnetism.
Yeah, there's something about her presence too. In Angelina Jolie perfectly embodies that. And it's why I gravitate towards Angelina Jolie as an actor as well. There's this, with both of them, there's this duality, this like vulnerability that you can tell.
Yes.
But there's this, it's not coldness, but like strength. Yeah, they're closed, but they're open. They're
in control.
Yeah, they're in control, yet they're emotional. They're strong, but emotional.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Also, I was captivated by her beauty.
Yeah.
I thought, I did see photos of Maria Callas, and for the longest time, I just thought that was Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, yeah. She did have that Audrey Hepburn look with the baby, well, not baby bangs, but like whatever the 60s, that little, whatever that hairdo is, and the pearls and the black dress, like the gloves.
Yeah, and something about their eyes look very similar.
Yeah.
It's just the noses are a little different, but I was like, okay, queen work. As someone with a larger nose, I'm like, work.
You're like, Audrey Hepburn got a nose job.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, her beauty was very striking. So then to find out, especially through this film, Maria, like all the struggles with her mother and like
I didn't realize all that.
Weight loss and
yeah, she did. She had a journey. She had a glow up, I suppose.
A glow up, but then she lost her voice.
Yeah, that part's sad. Or she put it, I think, I don't know. There's like different takes on what happened with her giving up her career for Aristotle.
Yeah, I mean,
but then she wanted to kind of give up her career a bit to be a normal person, she said. So, like,
but was it also drug use? Like the real life story of Maria Callas. Can you inform me about that?
So, from what I know, she got married at a young age, and like the man she married first, oh man, what the heck was his name? Like Mangini or something? Is that his name? Oh yeah, Giovanni Battista Meneghini. So he was like her manager. There was a pretty big age difference, like 27 years, I think. So there was a lot going on.
Was it like a Mariah Carey, Tommy Mottola situation? Like, was he like really controlling?
Oh, yeah, he was. And he kept a lot of the money for himself. Like he had accounts in his name. I don't know. There's like, there's some stuff like that. He also encouraged her to do speed so that she could keep on going and do more performances and things like that. So that's the gateway.
And also, speaking, just going back to the Dewey Cox of it all, Pablo, in lesser hands, a biopic, or I should say biopic. Derogatory, could be that's the beginning.
Uh-huh.
He gets her hooked on speed. But Pablo Larrain is demure.
He is. He's very mindful.
Yeah, he cares only about Maria, and he doesn't play like that. So,
thank goodness.
But anyways, go ahead. He gets her hooked on speed.
Yeah, so she's on speed. And then she's performing a lot, and I think sometime in like the early or mid 60s, she's kind of starts to put her career to the side, but she also, I think she was struggling with like losing her voice, and it could be because like overperforming. And then she had that illness. I forget what it's called, but like it's a muscular thing.
Okay.
So she really, I mean, that was a real thing, but I'm trying to think where she got involved with Aristotle though, because that was while she was married to that other guy. So, can't be mad at her for having some fun.
No, totally not. And Aristotle's also Greek.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Bond.
I think they probably did. Yeah, he had a boat, or maybe she had the boat. I don't know.
He had a yacht.
He had a yacht.
Because I know this only because the film crew for Maria, they were able to film on that yacht.
Oh, the same yacht? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Or one of the yachts. Like, I don't know the ins and outs, but...
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's still so much that I don't know about Maria.
She's so mysterious.
Yeah.
And, I loved in the film how it's only shot, not only shot, but like we're always going into a door. Or we're like walking in to her life a little bit, and we're seeing her with mirrors or with a fake, TV interview. Like we're never really sure what's real and what's not.
That's true, yeah.
But also the way that we're viewing her is like we're not fully let in.
Yeah.
Because she was someone that you can't know about like that, because I don't believe that she let people in like that.
I don't think so. Yeah. Not from what I understand.
What did you think of the film?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting that it was like the later years of her life. I wasn't expecting that, but I liked that, I liked the reporter boy. He's cute, whether he's real or not. I don't think he's real.
I don't think he's real because she calls him was it Mandrax? She always refers to him as that. So I think
that's when she's tripping.
Yeah. Or just, I think that she's trying to reframe the narrative of her life. And this is kind of like,
that's her way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause she's like going through her whole life, basically. Just, yeah.
Yeah. Talking to this fictional, like made up reporter.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when she tells her butler to keep moving the piano around. That was funny. She was like, no, not that spot.
I loved her butler and her like live-in cook, live-in lady. Not that has like weird implications, but yeah, she's like someone that like lives with her.
Yeah.
Like her personal assistant-ish cook,
Yeah.
But I loved her relationship with them. Like that became her and her two poodles. It's like her little family.
That was her little family. I know, that was really sweet. They seem to really care about her, even though she's like tripping sometimes, and she's like, what's the matter with you? She might use harsh words, but
yeah, they're really like there and supporting her, and it's like the last year of her life. And I don't know. It's an interesting, like you said, I think it's really interesting that Pablo Larrain chose this specific time. Because it doesn't get talked about a lot when you hear about Maria Callas.
No.
But also, she was a shut-in for that last year in her Paris apartment. And it's like, if I'm thinking, like, what is the last year of this woman's life? What could this possibly be? To have it be like, oh, she's talking to a reporter trying to, like, reclaim her narrative and find her voice again. Throughout this process, or like, can she sing again? It's like the big question. I just think that's a very interesting way to make a film. It's an interesting angle to take.
Yeah, no, I loved it, and I loved her like trying to sing again, like that journey. But I am confused because sometimes I thought that the man at the piano was not real, like the instructor. I'm like, is she really taking these classes and practicing, or is that all in her head too?
Maybe.
And is there any relation to moving the piano? And is she tripping when the piano's on the left instead of the right? I don't know. I'm just like, she says she goes out on the town or something, but where is she really going? Or is she just replaying memories, Yeah,
I'm not quite sure. And I like the not knowing.
Yeah.
I like those fantastical elements. Like, I think to go to like Spencer, I think it's really, Spencer was my favorite out of the three.
I think mine might be Spencer as well.
I'm in love with that film, and I can't believe I didn't see it when it came out in 2021.
I know, I'm kicking myself. I'm like, what was I doing?
Kicking myself.
Where were we? What is our excuse?
No excuse.
Because we could have seen that in theaters.
We could have. Out of all of those films that year, too, like, I don't understand how Kristen Stewart didn't get the Oscar. It just like blows my mind.
Who got the Oscar then?
I think Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Oh, okay.
Which I get it, the transformation, but there's just something magical about Kristen Stewart's performance as Princess Diana.
Yeah, she's really good. I really enjoyed seeing her in that role because I feel like with Kristen Stewart, like it's so like burned into my brain that she's like Bella Swan.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to get past that. But I remember when it was announced that she was cast for the film, I remember thinking, but then I'm like, wait, you know what? I can kind of see it. Like I can see the resemblance, but I was pretty sure she'd have the look. But then I was like, how is she going to bring her to life? Like, what is this going to look like?
And I had the opposite. I was like, even watching this film, it took maybe 10 to 15 minutes for me to like shake the Twilight Kristen Stewart of it all. I was like, she doesn't look anything like Princess Diana. It's like so weird. And just also because of the age we are. Like Twilight is such a seminal film. We grew up seeing Kristen Stewart.
All the memes too.
Bella. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of hard to shake that.
Yeah.
But once I did, like, it just was like a warm up, and then I was sold.
You just have to like trust and believe.
I really did trust and believe. Like, I just haven't seen like an internal transformation, because it's not like, of course there's the external things. Like, she does have, the hair on. She has the blue eye contacts.
Which those wigs were expensive.
Really?
$6,000 a piece, apparently.
It actually is a good wig.
That was the first thing that I thought. I was like, is this a wig? This has to be a wig. She didn't dye her hair, did she? Because it looks like a wig. But
Angelina Jolie pulled a Nicole Kidman. She has a prosthetic nose to get the bridge.
Really?
They have a prosthetic. Yeah.
I didn't notice that, but I felt like there was something different, but I just couldn't. I was like, oh, she is Maria. And maybe that's that one little thing.
It was only slight, because it must be just the bridge of the nose, because everything else looks like Angelina Jolie's nose.
Yeah. That's crazy.
My mind was blown away.
Wow. Are they going to make that joke if she wins by a nose? They better know.
This year is a tough competition.
Yeah.
And I feel like Pablo Larrain doesn't really get his flowers. Like, I know Jackie was nominated for a lot of Oscars, or quite a few. And that was a stacked year as well, like 2016.
Yeah, there were so many good films.
But Kristen Stewart's the only one that got nominated. I don't know how any of like the technical categories, how he didn't get nominated for any of them. Blows my mind. What I was going to say about the fantastical elements in Maria going to Spencer. Spencer has so many fantastical elements.
Yes.
Where it's half the time it's almost like you're in a horror film.
Yes, I loved that so much. I was like, at the beginning, when you hit play and it says psychological thriller, drama, and then it fades?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, psychological thriller. I didn't expect that. From a biopic.
It plays like a psychological thriller. And it's not just the ghost of Anne Boleyn.
You know what it reminded me of? Black Swan. you know? Just like certain elements, like how, like what's real, what's not, like eating the pearls. Like that's kind of strange, but I loved it. One of my favorite scenes.
When she ate the pearls. Can we talk about that scene? Because, we talked a little bit about Maria Callas and her like drug use. And in the film, they talk about it a lot. I mean, she's obviously talking to a reporter. That's essentially her pills. But in Spencer, her vice is she has an eating disorder. And that's a known thing about Princess Diana.
I did not know.
I did. Now I definitely
know nothing.
did.
I just have to say, I knew literally nothing about Princess Diana going into this film. So I had to do research a little before and after just to put her in context, because I feel like she's just this figure that's like I grew up hearing about, but she was already dead.
Yeah.
But I did hear people like in our family or like whoever just talk about her like in the best way.
I mean,
highest regards, and I'd be like,
yeah,
she looks iconic, and that's all I would know is just how she looks.
Well, the people's princess.
The people's princess.
I mean, yeah, my mom, mourned the loss of Princess Diana. And, growing up, I always heard her talk about Diana in this like way, like she was Mother Teresa, essentially, like this woman, but also that she could deeply relate to. So when I think of Princess Diana, I think of my mom. Aww. But I think of like, she's like the 90s mom, the mom of the 90s.
Yeah.
But I like you, I don't know anything about her living. I just know, posthumously. Like I know like the lore of Princess Diana, but I, wasn't alive during that time.
Yeah. I'm like, I know of the revenge dress.
Yeah. Like I know about it, but I don't know the context. And I didn't know really until after I saw Spencer. And then I fell down this huge rabbit hole. So this whole week, because, we're watching Julianne Moore films.
Oh, yeah.
And I completely had to put that on pause. My whole life last week, Brie, was just Princess Diana.
Yes.
Like, but completely, like, that was my whole...
It's your life's purpose.
My whole life's purpose last week was, like, researching Princess Diana. Thanks to this film. But, yeah, apparently she did suffer from bulimia and had an eating disorder. But to which extent... I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't... Princess Diana is another one of those figures. It's like, we know so much about her, but we know nothing about her.
Yeah. Well, the royal family, too. They're so protected, right?
And I mean, she really didn't get a chance until like 1995, and she died in 97. So she only got a couple years to really tell her story her way. So it was very short-lived.
Yeah, I saw this like interview where she was like, yeah, I think they're out to get me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like gave me chills.
That stuff has been disproven, but it does seem very like creepy. Like, when like in horror movies, to go back to psychological thrillers, in horror movies when they're like, I just have like a feeling, a sneaky suspicion, and then like all these like crazy things happen.
Yeah.
That does seem a little bit like what was going on.
A little bit, yeah.
But the pearls in the soup.
I loved that scene. I mean, those pearls in general, it's like the whole time she's kind of being forced to wear certain things and
forced to eat.
Yeah, that too. It was probably some weird food.
Weighed too.
Oh yeah.
And it's a measure of how much fun you've had.
That doesn't seem fun. Like, whether you have an eating disorder or not, I don't think being weighed before you eat is a fun time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I get it, that's their tradition, but I too would be like, also, what if you don't pack on those? Are they? I don't know. It's just like a lot of pressure.
Definitely.
I would fold under the pressure.
What would you do under the pressure?
I would be like, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be like, I have to eat everything, but then I'm like, oh, I can't. They're watching me.
And see, like, I thought it was genius the way they portrayed an eating. I haven't seen an eating disorder portrayed this way in film, and I really, not like I felt seen, but there is this element to it that I really responded to, like, and it's Kristen Stewart the way her acting as well, but just that like dread when she sees the scales for the first time, or wanting to like she takes these like wire cutters, and like clips her skin.
Oh my God, that scene!
But like going through an eating disorder and like or disordered eating, we don't have to get that dramatic, but that idea of like ripping the pearls and just like crazy eating the soup and then purging it, like there is such a visceral element when you're going through that that like I've never seen done in film, and in such like an artistic way and in a visceral way.
Yeah,
that's like really upfront. Usually
she eats them like defiantly,
100%, and eats them.
Mm-hmm.
And like usually we see eating disorders in a very like after school special way. So it's cool to see it.
Yeah. Not
Done
like a
this.
cheesy weird. Yeah. No, it felt very real. And even though like they flash back and it's like the pearls are still on her neck. So you know it's like a hallucination or like just
or it's like a feeling. Pablo Larrain, especially with Spencer, it's a lot of showing, not telling. I and just that idea that you can convey so much with no dialogue. Just this feeling, the way he depicts feelings in their inner world. I've never seen a director do that before. I don't know. I love this man.
I know he's my new favorite.
Like I'm just obsessed.
I gotta change my letterbox now.
Yeah, only Spencer, Jackie, Maria.
Yep.
Shrek.
Period.
That's the letterbox for.
Yeah.
Or Shrek 2.
Oh, yeah. That might be superior.
I don't know. Another maligned woman of the 21st century.
Fiona?
I was gonna say
the fairy godmother. What is her story?
Yeah,
she's a great singer.
I want to know her backstory. Pablo Larrain, get on that.
Yeah, she's clearly going through something. She's pimping out her child in a way.
Yes,
like what is she hurting for money? What is going on?
What's the inner world?
Shrek
5. That's what it's all about. Shrek 5, done like Spencer.
Pablo Larrain.
Yeah, I'm into that. Any other really standout scenes from Spencer?
I really love just like when she steals the jacket and just like her continuously trying to go to her childhood home that's like dilapidated. So that's like a few different scenes, but
she's always trying to go back to that home. She's trying to escape from the palace.
Yeah.
All the time.
And no one will leave her. This is what stands out to me is that guy. He's somewhat of a guard. He's very annoying and he's all up in her business. She can't even eat cake in peace in her like fridge, that walk-in fridge.
Yeah, she can't binge in peace.
I know. I'm like, leave her alone.
That's the worst.
I'm like, leave her alone. She can't sit on the stairs like outside. Yes. She has her curtains sewn up. Like, I don't know how true like all those little details are, but like it's what's crazy is like you don't really see any photographers or anything, so I don't know if they're just being overprotected. But like to my mind goes to like that Britney Spears song. I'm like, is that how she's feeling?
Well,
overprotected?
Yeah, maybe. But also, much like Britney Spears, all eyes were on Princess Diana.
Yeah.
So a lot of
in the center of the ring, just like
yeah, she's
media circus.
All of these women, there's two types of people in the world. Ones that entertain, ones that observe.
Mm-hmm.
They're put on a show kind of girls.
Yeah.
So
they don't want the back seat.
Yeah.
Gotta be first.
But yeah, people were really like scrutinizing Princess Diana and like looking at her like that. And the British, press and the tabloids were feral and crazy.
Yeah. Unnecessary.
And I guess, they still are, the whole thing with like Meghan Markle, whether you like her or not, they were very intense. And they were intense about Princess Diana as well.
Yes.
So I think all the fantastical elements really do a great job of making you feel that like pressure cooker she was under.
She was like in like like she just felt like she was in a cage. Like she can't even get daylight into her like through her window, like into the room.
A gilded cage.
Like suffocating. Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah. But yeah, always like going back to her home and it's just dilapidated. The standout scene for me is that final scene.
With the boys?
Oh my gosh. That's when I was like, is this my favorite film of all time?
It's a very good film. I also really love this film. Like out of all three of them, I'm surprised. Like I thought it'd be Maria because I love Maria Callas. And it was until I saw Spencer.
I mean, Maria, that's a beautiful performance by Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's my main takeaway. But Spencer, when she goes to, like, because there's a whole, like, subplot of sorts that William, like, Prince Charles is trying to, get him to shoot game.
Yeah.
or fowl. I don't know the difference.
Yeah,
I
the
think
birds.
Fowl. It's a bird. Game in the sky. I don't know what.
Not pigeons. Whatever.
I don't know. Whatever they do.
Quails. Something
like
like that. We don't. Clearly, we do not hunt.
No, we're like Princess
Yeah, we're like, no,
like,
stop.
We're like not into that. Like 12-year-olds and guns, maybe not.
Yeah, I agree.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not.
But when they're all out shooting and she like runs into the field and is like, stop, I want my sons, you know, shoot me if you want, but I want my sons.
Yeah.
And they like come with her and they run to her and then they hop in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the song?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 1980s. Oh, all I need is
It's a miracle. All I need is you. Yeah, it's like a happy moment.
And they're just like driving through the countryside to like London.
Yeah.
And they're getting KFC. And it's just like,
I know. I love that they're getting KFC of all places. I was like, oh, wow, the movie's over. And then I like, you know, hear like the order for the KFC. I'm like, what? They're at KFC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they ask for the name.
She says, Spencer.
Yeah.
Like iconic, but like tears just like rolling down my face.
Yeah. No, it was great.
I do love
all these movies got me like, you know, a little teary eyed at different times.
Okay. When did you cry in every one of these films?
Well, this one, Spencer, maybe when she goes back to her childhood home and sees it like partially where it like how it used to look when she was a kid and things like that. And I don't know, that just got me. And then
she pushed her grandma down the steps in real life
when she was a child or recent. I mean, not recently.
An adult.
What?
Or not her, maybe her grandma, either her grandma or her stepmom. She pushed someone down the steps.
Did they live?
Yeah. But anyways, carry on.
What? Did she get in trouble? Was she like, oopsies?
She's like, oopsies.
Huh.
Anyways, complex women.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so.
When did you cry? In Jackie.
Jackie, I feel like that one got me the most probably because it's such a visceral, like emotional, like couple of days. Like it's right after the assassination. I think it's just the Natalie Portman. She just has this like when she cries, it's just like hard not to pick up on those emotions. And then just thinking about the whole situation. I mean, her husband just got shot in the head. Like, you know, like all the like ugly stuff that we don't think about or, you know, with that whole situation is like right there. Like they're not afraid to confront it in this film. So, and like seeing her just getting choked up like all the time just got me choked up.
Definitely.
So.
I mean, talk about controlling a narrative. That's essentially the plot of Jackie. I have written down, it's an account of the days of the First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy, in the intermediate aftermath of John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963. But really, it's after the assassination, Jackie is trying to shape her legacy and her husband's legacy.
It's a lot.
And yeah, she's like crafting this narrative that is like, she's like, has conflicting, like she doesn't want this to be like in vain or to be viewed as vanity, but she wants her husband's legacy and like this president, like the legacy of, you know, what it means, what this all means to not just like be something that we forget like about so easily. Yeah, like she's very concerned about the American dream and very concerned about the American like view of the presidency, and she's trying to shape that to this reporter.
Yeah.
And like also grappling with the fact that she lost her husband, but also she lost Camelot.
Yeah.
Like that's over. That dream's dead. What got me is like that like harsh realization in the film when right after the assassination happens, and basically they just like lead her in with like Lyndon B. Johnson and like Lady Bird, and she has to like stand there as he gets sworn in. And it's like her whole like world crumbles.
That was crazy too. Like I remember the first time seeing that film being like, what is wrong with them? Like already? Like give him a minute, you know, because like we see it so from her perspective, it just seems very crass, I think, to be like, all right, I'm ready to be sworn in. You know, it seems like very in poor taste. But
it's like, what do? You got to keep
someone's got to keep it going. Yeah.
And then her talking to Bobby, and Bobby's like, they're just going to think we're like the beautiful ones. And I don't know, just seeing her, like, I don't know, Natalie Portman's such a great actress.
Yeah, she's such a great actress that, like, all of her emotions, like, they felt so real. I try not to cry my eyes out, but
sometimes you gotta, like, let it out.
Sometimes you do. Yeah, it was good. Also, I want to say, quick note, the casting in that movie is also really good. Like, Bobby and JFK, like, they look so similar to the, like, real life.
That was my comment. I've never seen JFK actually look like JFK except in this film.
I was like, how did they find this guy?
They always make JFK look, no offense, he's the best looking president besides Barack, but they always make him look a little more handsome than he actually was. But this guy,
no, he's like very close. It's like so believable. I don't know. I just thought that was a cool detail. And then his brother too. I'm like, who is this?
Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah, I'm like, Peter Sarsgaard? No way. Like, he looks totally, I guess the way they styled their hair and like with the magic, the movie magic of it all, like you just suspend the disbelief.
Yeah, no, they're it. Also, on the note of Peter Sarsgaard, it's like a Dermot Mulroney, Dylan McDermott situation.
Yeah.
Because in the credits, I was like, Peter Sarsgaard, and I totally in my mind had like a Starsguard.
Oh, yeah.
In mind, and I was like, nah, what? And then I was like, oh, like the one that's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard. Okay.
Yeah. I also got confused. I'm not going to lie. I was like, that doesn't make sense. But
I'm glad it's the same. But Peter Sarsgaard's in a lot of things.
Apparently.
That's like, I don't know, like well, what's the point of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Is it implying that Kevin Bacon's in a lot of things?
I've never seen that. I don't know much about Kevin Bacon because I don't find him hot.
Well, maybe the new one needs to be 6 Degrees. Peter Sarsgaard, because he's in everything.
Yeah.
But Jackie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like Maria too. Like, what parts got you in Maria?
Well,
the whole thing.
The whole thing. No, the moment when she, she really, the whole film, she's wanting to practice. Or she's practicing, kind of getting the courage to even practice singing again, because it's like the rumor mill, but also her belief is like she's lost her voice and like she'll never sing again. But she wants to sing for herself. It's like reclaiming of the narrative. She's like sang for other people. She wants to sing for herself, and she goes to like the rehearsal hall to sing, and she sings. And it's in front of no one.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just singing for herself because that's like what she wants to do. This is her last year on Earth, everybody. And there's that reporter. Not reporter. Is it a reporter? There's someone in the media that's like sneaky filming.
Oh.
And then when she comes out of the building, he's like, I heard you singing. I snuck in. You suck.
Oh, terrible. Yeah.
And it really tapped into like a fear of mine. I just don't want to make every film
Singing
about
best?
myself.
No.
Yeah, like I used to sing all the time. I did musical theater like all growing up, and like just one person said I was bad and it like ruined. I didn't sing again. But like to put myself in Maria's shoes, because like the whole film, like I'm feeling for her, no matter what she does, like seeing her relationships with everyone and how just knowing these are her final days and how all she wants to do is to prove it to herself. And she's only doing this for herself. So when she's confronted with that, it just like my whole world shattered a little bit.
I know. I loved how like her I want to say her bodyguard. He became the bodyguard. Her butler became like a bodyguard. He was about to like punch that man,
jack him up,
roughed him up, and like stole the tape. Yeah.
Rightfully so, but just...
And then she's like, I want to listen to it, which I forget what happens after that. Like,
I don't remember.
I don't think it was that bad. I don't know.
But it's just crazy to think that, like, I don't know, to put myself in her shoes and that feeling of, like, she could never escape that.
Like the critic
and like the inner critic
she
is
has
so loud.
I was gonna say, I feel like her inner critic is so loud, and that's something I feel like is really relatable because she seems very like a perfectionist.
Well, all these women,
yeah, actually, yes,
like their inner critic's so loud, and I think what really, like, going back to Jackie, what really stood out to me is when she's talking to the reporter and, you know, she's relaying what happened and then being like, but you can't.
Yeah, you can't
say that.
Can't write that down.
And just, like, thinking 10 steps ahead. Like, Jackie, Maria, and Princess Diana, but especially Jackie's, like, playing 10 steps ahead.
She's playing chess while they're playing checkers.
Yeah. 100%. But it's also, like, this inner knowing, or at least in this film, this, like, interpretation that she had such, like, an inner knowing and a love for the country and for, like, keeping up with this legacy, like, how important that was to her, that she didn't care about appearing cold or appearing a certain way. Like, it just seemed like, you know how in dude movies, how, like, people fight a war?
Uh-huh.
And that's how they get honor?
Yeah.
I don't know, something, like, reminded me of that with her talking to the reporter.
It was like a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
He was kind of a cute reporter too. Side note, was he kind of hot? Who is that guy?
Billy Crudup.
Is that who that is?
Yeah. He's also in everything.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with his slicked back hair. It did something for me. But it's like, I felt like, I'm like, can I trust this reporter or not? Yeah, I guess you can never trust anyone. But it's almost like it's like you want to trust him or something.
Mm-hmm. But ultimately, he wasn't a bad dude.
Yeah, I mean, he respected her. Well, I guess for the most part, I think when you do press release type of things, don't you have to sign off? Most times.
Yeah. And, like,
you're supposed to.
Should.
There's morals, right? Within, I don't know all the ins and outs of, like, reporting, but.
And he also, like, she, like, convinced him. You know, she won.
She used to be a reporter,
battle.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's part of her.
Yeah.
Like, she knows.
Well, she's playing.
She has
chess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think Lorraine was saying in the scene in Jackie when, you know, she's so hung up on the legacy? Like, that's, like, her big fear and worry and just her concern. Like, she's consumed by it. But when she's driving in the car and she sees all the mannequins and all of her, like, impact, she sees all the Jackie O mannequins.
I loved that scene.
With the little pillbox hat.
Work.
What do you think that was trying to say?
Maybe that she has made an impact somehow. Like, people, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that, like, the reporter himself was like, "Don't worry, ma'am. People will remember you. You've put your stank on it." Basically, he was like, "You've made your stamp on this." You know, like, he was saying, like, all the people that tuned in to the funeral, and I don't know if he mentioned her fashion or not, but he was like, "You will not be forgotten," which I thought was kind of interesting. Because maybe she's worried about, maybe it's just, like, a human thing to think about your legacy in a way, and especially if you're in that, like, position, like a figure that is looked up to, first lady. It's a lot of pressures.
Well, and she's the first lady.
Yeah.
Like, we still think of her today as the first lady. Like, we don't know, or at least I don't, so maybe I don't want to.
Oh, I don't know much about
first lady. What do you think, Jackie?
Yeah.
What do you think of a princess? What do you think of
Princess Diana?
Genovia is not a real place.
It's not.
So second goes to Diana.
That's true. Although, watching Spencer, that scene when they're at the dinner table, it did remind me of a very uncomfortable, like, version of that scene in Princess Diaries where she's at the table for the first time. You have to do all the pleasantries. Yes. It was like that, but, like, on crack.
Also, that pea soup.
Yeah.
Was looking like that green sorbet.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, this feels familiar.
Totally. Want to talk about the fashion really quick?
Yes. I love the fashion.
Yeah. Which I was really surprised that I think it was the same costume designer for Spencer and Maria. Maybe not. But it's not the same for Jackie. Like, he's picked different people to work with. I know he works with Stephen Knight on screenplay and stuff, but it seems like the fashion changes and the costume designer and
whoever it is that was doing a great job.
100%. For Jackie, it was Madeline Fontaine. I know that.
She was nominated, right?
Did she win? Nominated.
She should have won.
She did not. Who won in 2016?
Who won for the costume?
But while you're looking that up, I thought it was really interesting. Madeline Fontaine, the costume designer for Jackie, said about the costumes in the film, We knew we'd have to come as close as possible to the collective memory of Jackie established over the course of those days, which were so well documented by the media. But it was also very important to get the emotion just right to help Natalie on the way to becoming Jackie, which she's so iconic as a fashion figure, Jackie Kennedy. That, like, from the red Dior number when she's touring the White House looking almost identical to, like, the Chanel with the iconic pillbox hat. Just, like, exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
But also, speaking of visceral things, in that scene, because it kind of plays out throughout the film, like, we see the assassination in snippets.
Yeah.
But when we're watching Jackie after, like, the aftermath, and, like, there's, like, brain bits and
love
blood,
that.
love it too. But it's like, we've seen that iconic image of her with the pillbox hat before, but we haven't seen it in that way, or at least I haven't seen it in that way, like, and that she doesn't take it off, and we get to see her, like, walk around the White House with the blood and then wipe it off. And
that scene where she takes off the suit and, like, those stockings. Actually, that one I think made me cry a little bit.
It's crazy. I think that's what good filmmaking does.
You're right, and it, like, shows and not
shows, and it humanizes her. It's someone that, like, is so iconic, but, like, it's hard to humanize a figure like that, especially someone like her that really did try to keep that wall up and keep a certain narrative.
Right. Like
present.
with her chain smoking, she tried to keep that under wraps.
Back to fashion. You know?
This doesn't pretend like this never quit recording on its own.
Yeah, it never
we didn't have any technical
paused.
issues. You know.
No, we're easy breezy, flying through fashion.
She's almost my +1.
Yes. What's your favorite fashion moments?
Probably, well, I love, like, the pink suit, obviously, Jackie suit with the pillbox hat. I feel like that's just so iconic, and that's the first thing I think about when I think of Jackie Kennedy. That's, like, just what I think.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this before my computer died. But yeah, that imagery of seeing the iconic Chanel suit with the pillbox hat with the blood.
Remember being on the hunt for an outfit like that? Weren't we going to do a photo shoot or something? Do you remember this?
Okay, yeah, we were going to do
we were
a
so
parody,
inspired.
But
a parody?
A parody, I think.
Why? We're going to make it funny?
Well, remember, we were also taking improv at that time.
Oh, that's why it
believe
wasn't for an
so.
artistic photo shoot?
I don't think it was supposed to be artistic. I think we were funny gals doing heralds.
Just not reading the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually in poor taste. Why would we do that?
I don't know. Maybe
Anyway.
Maybe the thought process was, oh, if Elle Woods in Legally Blonde 2.
Oh, she
Red,
was
White, and
influenced.
Blonde, yeah.
Definitely.
If Elle Woods can go to the White House wearing a pillbox hat, then perhaps so could we in a parody, a comedy parody.
I don't know how we were
video.
going to spin that. Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
I really loved the serendipity and, like, the brand integration with Chanel for Spencer. Because, you know, Kristen Stewart's been, like, a Chanel ambassador for so long.
Oh.
And Princess Diana, later in life, not in 1991 when the film takes place, but artistic liberties. But, like, the Kristen Stewart Chanel partnership, and they got things, you know, lent.
That's
to
awesome.
them for Spencer, so.
Ooh. Like historical things?
Or
like recreations of
recreations. Also, like, it didn't like Princess Di loved her Chanel, but loved it post royal life. So, but just they were lent things.
Wow.
Just real Chanel, you know.
It's really cool.
They didn't have
okay,
to
Case
replicate.
Stu.
Yeah,
Get those connections.
definitely. Yeah, I don't know what we were gonna say. Let's talk Oscars.
I found 2016. So, okay, you're not going to believe this.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is what's nominated
For costume?
For costumes. This is what's nominated. I want you to guess what won over Jackie. There was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Colleen Atwood.
Mm-hmm.
Goat. True. Allied, Johanna Johnston. I mean, you may not know these people. I don't know these people.
I know, you know.
Colleen Atwood, though.
Yeah, I know Colleen Atwood. Sandy Powell. Is she on there? Is she nominated this year?
No.
Ah.
It's, Consolata Boyle for Florence Foster Jenkins. Madeline Fontaine. Madeline
probably, but I said Madeline. But
Mary Zofries, La La Land. Anyway, who do you think won above Jackie?
You know what? Is it La La Land? No, it's Fantastic Beasts.
It's Fantastic Beasts. Can you believe that? Over the icon, the legend, Jackie? Those Chanel suits.
I don't know.
Come on. What?
I don't know.
I mean, I love Colleen Atwood, though. I get it. Like, goat. But Fantastic Beasts. Are we really going to remember Eddie Redmayne's, like, leather vest and his button-down shirt?
You know what? Eddie Redmayne is a low-key style icon. And I do remember that, like, blue jacket that he wears. So, I don't know. I would say that I did see Fantastic Beasts in theaters opening weekend on a date.
Oh.
I went on a date. Didn't love the movie. But if it were to be nominated and win for anything,
the
costumes. I'd say Colleen Atwood 8, but not like Jackie.
Yeah, I do feel like it deserves a win, but you know.
I mean, I was floored, gooped, gagged, floored when I found out that in 2021 of all years, like nary a nomination in anything besides Best Actress for Spencer.
And
I didn't see Spencer then, which is now my new favorite film.
Yeah, those costumes too, or the cinematography as well.
Anything.
It's crazy. Or like screenplay, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting. Like,
well, it was divisive.
Yeah.
Which
I love when things are a little divisive, though.
I do too.
I don't know.
It's so interesting to think too, like the script for Spencer was so divisive, but surprisingly not Kristen Stewart as Diana.
Like I know that was, to me, that was a little divisive.
100%.
That is crazy. I mean, did she win that Oscar, or was she just nominated?
No, Jessica Chastain.
Oh, right. We already went over this.
But yeah.
Yeah. But
Jessica
what about Natalie
Chastain.
Portman? Did she win her Oscar?
She did not. Who won that? It was Emma Stone.
Oh.
For La La Land.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of good movies, but still.
Okay. 2016, the fact that Amy Adams didn't win for Arrival still grinds my gears.
I still haven't seen Arrival.
So good.
Is it aliens?
Mm-hmm. You want to cry, though? Watch Arrival. Like, my life changed after that movie. I was speechless. Again, I went on a date to see Arrival. I, like, was dating this guy that I, like, dragged to all the Oscar nomination movies with me.
Nice.
So, but after that, I, like, didn't speak. Like, we didn't speak. We just went to our separate cars.
Was that impactful?
Yeah. We were like, gotta go. Bye. And left our separate ways. Like, see you later, dude. And my life was, like, profoundly changed because of Arrival.
Wow. So. Okay. I'll have to check that one out. I love Amy Adams.
So good. That might beat out Shrek 2 in my letterboxd.
It's Arrival. It's Jackie. It's Spencer and Maria.
Yes. Which, Maria, speaking of Oscars, Oscar nominations haven't been out yet. They're postponed. And I don't know if it'll be postponed a little more because of the fires.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which I know this is so late. This is not like in the housekeeping top section, but I am like, my thoughts are with all of our like LA podcaster buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it somewhere because I do feel, like,
yeah,
I've been kind of like late to the party on it. I've been sick all week and I haven't really, reached out.
Yeah, there's a lot happening out there.
But yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be postponed a little more, but what do you think are Maria's chances?
I think they're high. The only thing I'm confused about is the fact that it's like a Netflix movie, but I guess the criteria is a little different nowadays.
It was in theaters.
It was in a select theaters.
It was in a theater.
It was in
select
a theater.
Theaters in November, apparently.
See, my beef with this movie, though, is that it should have been in regular theaters. Like, I would have loved to see this on the big screen, especially Angelina Jolie being such, like, a big name. Like, come on. Like, it's just crazy to me, a big name actress not straight to DVD, but that's what it feels like. When things go to streaming, it feels like straight to DVD.
100%. And
it makes me mad.
I feel like 4 Pablo Larrain films.
Yes.
They are art house biopics.
It's his work. It's like disrespect. Like it needs to be in a theater.
It needs to be in a small art house theater.
Yes.
On the big screen.
Amen.
It doesn't need to be at like every AMC.
No. But select theaters.
But select theaters like have a run like a Nora, you know?
Yeah.
So it is kind of a bummer in that regard. But again, Nora got snubbed at the Golden Globes.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the foreign press. That's a little different than, who is in the Academy.
That's true. But they did give some flowers to Baby Girl.
They did.
To
Baby Girl.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Amelia Perez. Are we going to have to watch Amelia Perez? Because, I don't know.
Who?
Girl. That won a lot of
Who's
Golden
Amelia
Globes.
Perez? Is that a movie?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I'm like, is that a person?
Brie.
I don't know who this
Okay,
is. I'm sorry.
I'm not making this up. This got the most Golden Globe wins this year. Amelia Perez is a musical about someone who's having a sex change. Selena Gomez, Zoe Saldana.
Is she having a sex change?
No, it's like a cartel boss.
What?
Yeah.
Is it
or
based
it's not
on
a sex change. They don't call it that anymore. That's not PC of me. What is it called?
It says a Mexican
Gender
lawyer
reaffirming.
is offered an unusual job to help a notorious cartel boss retire and transition into living as a woman, fulfilling a long-held desire.
But they sing. Oh my God. Have you heard the song that I think got
cheesy?
nominated for, or won? I think this song won the Golden Globe. Brie, this is real. And I think this won.
What would you like to know about it, ma? I want to know it all. What is the protocol? The techniques and the risks. How many operations? How much
The tone of this seems very strange. What is happening? It's got a lot of choreography. Oh man, it's over already? Well, that is interesting. I mean, it's a bit of a bop, but I'm confused. Is it like a comedy?
I don't believe so.
It says it's a musical thriller. Maybe I'm missing something because the tone of that, like out of context, is very strange. Because they're all like smiling and singing, and I don't know. I'm like, I'm just a little confused, but
In operation.
I don't know. I feel like the poster looks very dramatic.
Man to woman, woman to man. Well, I don't know. Maybe
I know. I'm like, it's kind of a bop. I don't know. I'm very confused, but
I don't know. We'll have to watch it
yeah,
to give a real review.
yeah, I'm very confused. Just like it's just like a little confusing, like the tone. It says that the critics are polarized internationally. In Europe, it received a lot of praise. It was poorly received in Mexico, where the film takes place. Huh.
Well, I can't see why.
It was also criticized by some LGBTQ advocacy groups for its portrayal of gender transition. So, interesting. But in Europe, they love it. They're like, I know a good song when I hear one.
That's why the foreign press is like banger. But yeah, Maria.
Yeah.
Do you think Angelina Jolie is going to get an Oscar nomination?
I think so. She has to. She better. I really think she will. I'd be surprised if she didn't win. I mean, I'm trying to think. Well, a lot of people could be nominated, I suppose. What's her name?
Demi Moore for The Substance. She
yeah.
won the Golden Globe.
She did.
I could see an Oscar nom for her.
Yeah.
I hope Mikey Madison for Anora.
I was going to say Mikey Madison, probably. Yeah.
Have you seen Anora?
I have not, but I just have a feeling.
I don't know if she's gonna win now that, it just seemed like the buzz before Golden Globes was Anora is the best film of the year. And then it didn't, get its flowers at the Golden Globe. So maybe the Oscars will find it different.
Sometimes
maybe
that
Pam
happens.
Anderson.
Yes, that's right. I almost forgot. I cannot wait to see The Last Showgirl, by the way.
Yes,
I'm really
same.
looking forward to that. I have a good feeling about it. I don't know. I love seeing whatever Pam Anderson's doing nowadays.
I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to. I know Miley Cyrus does a song for the film. So
Right.
I'm ready to, as soon as I hear Miley Cyrus's voice, ball.
It's the climb.
Also, Gia Coppola. I've been a fan since Palo Alto, so I'm excited to see her working with Pam Anderson.
Me too. Maybe Gio will get a nomination. Who knows?
Director.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Anything could happen. I really think Demi Moore's
Demi.
chances
If we
are-
learn anything, it's Demi.
Demi. Her chances are strong because of the Golden Globe speech, you know?
Yeah.
But Maria, I don't know. I love Angelina Jolie's performance. I think
It's so good.
it's a performance of a lifetime. So wrapping this up, what is your favorite film out of the unofficial trilogy?
I want to say Spencer, but I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I feel like I wouldn't mind owning this collection of films.
I own Jackie, but now I have to own them all. I want to watch them all and be in these worlds that Pablo Larrain creates. I'm just mesmerized by his work.
I know. I'm like so curious what he's gonna do next. Like I love kind of like what you were saying earlier with Spencer, like how there's just like more of like that psychological thriller element and like more fantasy. I just love that.
Same. I don't know. I think it's really interesting, like his choice to choose these women, like we've talked about. They're so revered by the public, but they also have very like interesting internal worlds, and they feel a lot of things, and they've experienced a lot of things. And it's interesting that in Jackie, it's at the beginning. It's not at the beginning of her life, but in a way it is.
In a way it is.
Because, she goes on to have, a second and almost a third act. This takes place in 1963 and she dies in 1994. And, much of what we know about Jackie, it's Jackie O, kind of transcended what it meant to be a first lady, and that in the presidency, like she created a whole different legacy for herself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like interesting. This is kind of like the beginning of her life in a weird way.
Yeah.
And then Spencer, it's the middle. It's Diana's second act. It's Princess Diana's like, this is my life.
Yeah.
Like on my terms. Like even though she dies relatively soon after this, it is like her reclaiming herself, and it's like this pivotal point right in the middle.
Same thing with Maria.
And Maria is the final days where she's cementing her narrative. Like she's like getting it in her head, like this is my life. So it's a trilogy that like starts at essentially the beginning of someone's life in a sense, and then
that's
the
crazy.
ending.
It's also sad and tragic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Especially I feel like for Diana and Maria.
Yes.
Because it's like literally towards the end of the,
Yeah. But these films are so beautiful, and they like give these women their flowers, but not just that. They make them like, he makes these women human and like gets to tell from their point of view. Like it's just beautiful. These are like,
I have no notes for him.
No notes. Pablo Larrain it's such a brilliant director, and
yeah,
I want to give him his flowers.
And we can trust him. It's clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's creating great work. I can't wait to see what he does next. Like
same. You know what? Speaking of great directors,
R.I.P.
David
Lynch.
Lynch.
Yes. I can't believe we didn't mention this sooner.
Another amazing auteur, director, also very Lana coded. So
yeah.
Let's have 2 cookies and a Coke for David Lynch.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.